It is I, LPP Studios, and for today's video I'll be showing you how I turned this minifigure into. Alright, the parts we're going to be using is the Lego Batman movie Robin hairpiece, then the Reverse Flash headpiece from 2018 or 2019, then the CMF legs from Sinestro, then the Nightwing torso that came from a 2022 Lego set, then some plain old yellow hands and black arms. As for tools, we're going to be using some yellow E-tape, blue E-tape, white E-tape, then some yellow paint, black paint, then some gloss. And after that, we're going to be using some cardboard to put the paint on. Then we're going to get a toothpick. Then we're going to get a paintbrush so we can paint it. Now, fair warning, before you start cutting or doing any of the things I'm doing, you're going to need an X-Acto blade. But be aware that X-Acto blades are sharp and very dangerous, so I'd advise you get a parent or legal guardian to at least help you in this. Next, we need a cutting mat so we can cut the E-tape on. Now we start by using some sandpaper and start sanding the bottom half of the mask so we can make it as accurate as possible to the source material. But also, funnily enough, I'm not the first person to actually use the Lego Batman movie Robin hairpiece. As seen with Newsverse Customs, he also did one. But he also made a blue suit Invincible, and I highly recommend you check it out. After that, I'm going to be using a thick eraser so I can start erasing the printing off this leg piece. Because if you didn't know, yes, you could actually erase printing off Legos with an eraser. It just takes a really long time. That or you could use acetone, but I've never used acetone, so I chose to use an eraser. Plus I didn't have acetone, so I wouldn't really know. So after I erased the leg printing, this is what it looks like, and it looks pretty good. All it's missing is the knee pads. And for the hairpiece, it's just missing the classic yellow and black hair at the top. Then I whip out the black paint and start getting it ready. Then I get the paintbrush and start painting his hair black like it is in the comics, and then I painted his goggles black, which were still wet, by the way. Then I used the mustard yellow paint, which funnily enough, by the time I got to his goggles, I painted them and realized instantly that they were still wet, so I had to repaint it a couple hundred times to fix that. While the paint dries on the hairpiece, I'm going to use some blue E-tape, white E-tape, and yellow E-tape. This is obviously going to be used for the arms, chest, legs, and head. I then start slicing the blue E-tape to the right size and angle that I want it to be in, so I could make his knee pads. Once you're done slicing, you're going to put it on his legs. I started with his right leg and then slowly made my way to the left leg, which is pretty hard to do or capture on camera, but I managed to do it. Next is the torso, and I start by slicing the yellow E-tape to the right size and width I want it to be. Then I assemble it by putting the yellow E-tape on the back side of his torso, then flip it over and do the same but for the front side. Then I add the U-shaped square that goes down to his hip piece, and something I did uniquely was I connected it with a V-shape that goes down there. Next is the arm piece. And what I did here is I started by cutting some yellow E-tape and putting it on his left hand first to make the gloves look larger. Then I did the same thing with the right arm. Then I cut some blue E-tape to add for the shoulder pads so it looks accurate to his costume design. So once the hairpiece is finally dried, I start glossing it over to make it look exactly like Lego minifigures usually do, since they have a little bit of shine to them. As the gloss sits there and dries, I'm going to start cutting up the goggle lenses that I'll soon put on Invincible's headpiece, but I'll put it to the side for now. Now that it's dried up, I can finally show a side by side of the left one being the before and the right one being after. So all I gotta do now is add the white goggle lenses. And finally, we get to the end of the semi-purist custom where I add the lenses. And I gotta say, it looks as amazing as it does when I made that concept art for it a while back. So all I gotta do now is show you something truly And now I present to you Invincible. And my god, this semi-purist custom looks absolutely fire, especially with the concept art I made a long time ago. It looks exactly how I dreamed of it being. And as seen with my old Invincible customs, you could tell that they were rough around the edges, but as time went on, I slowly tried to make them as more accurate as I can, until now. And as for future projects, I'll probably make a Spider-Man Invincible crossover animation that'll be like a two-parter. So that'll conclude the video for today. I hope you guys have a good evening, and I'll see you guys in the next one.